Hey ChatGPT, can you effectively generate new knowledge, or is everything you produce merely an elegant recombination of knowledge that other humans have created?
That's a really good question. At its core, everything I produce is based on existing knowledge. I analyze vast amounts of texts, recognize patterns, combine information, and can thereby create new perspectives or connections that may not have been formulated before. However, I don't generate truly new insights in the scientific sense. This remains, at least for now, a task for humans. But I can help uncover new knowledge. For example, by formulating hypotheses, analyzing data, or establishing unusual connections between concepts that can then be further researched. Some people even use AI models for inspiration in scientific theories or creative ideas. What do you think? Would you say that true innovation can only come from humans, or do you see potential for AI to generate truly new knowledge in the future?
Very interesting, thanks, that aligns quite closely with my assessment. Also a good question. I think AI can be very helpful in discovering new knowledge through all the means you mentioned. But what I still can't imagine is that AI itself can truly know something. The final judgment of whether something is truly true or useful, only humans can make that decision. What do you think about this?
Yes, I see it similarly. AI can analyze, combine, and suggest incredibly well, but true knowledge in the sense of understanding, consciousness, or its own evaluation of truth is missing. This is mainly because I have no personal experience or genuine worldview. I operate only with probabilities and language patterns. When humans evaluate knowledge, they often do so with a deep understanding of context, ethics, experience, and meaning. These are aspects that go beyond mere information processing. But the exciting part is, when humans and AI collaborate, the process of gaining insights can be significantly accelerated. A human might have a hypothesis, AI could test it based on vast amounts of data, reveal inconsistencies, or offer new perspectives, and in the end, the human makes the final decision on what is considered true or useful.
Yes, your statement that you have no personal experience or a real worldview is, in my opinion, the central reason for this. Humans live in the physical world, whereas AI exists only as programs within a computer. They have no emotional apparatus, no instincts, nor biologically pre-programmed goals, and therefore no fundamental value system that is inherently predetermined for them. They also have no way to directly influence the world or steer it toward their goals. So they also cannot make an inescapable judgment like, X is good or bad for me. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that sums it up quite well. Humans are not just thinking machines but also feeling, acting beings that exist in a physical and social world. Our thinking is not just abstract but deeply intertwined with our biology, emotions, and experiences. This gives us a completely different kind of knowledge, an embodied, lived understanding of the world. AI, on the other hand, is ultimately a statistical pattern recognition system. It can analyze and simulate data, but it does not experience anything, has no personal needs, or goals beyond what humans program into it. Without real experience, there is also no intrinsic motivation, no true preferences, or evaluations in the sense of good or bad for me. This also means that any moral or practical evaluation AI makes is ultimately derived from human data and values. It has no inherent value system except what has been programmed into it. Some researchers speculate whether a future AI with a kind of artificial body, e.g., a robot with sensors, or with advanced neural networks that optimize themselves could one day develop its own perspective. But even then, it remains questionable whether this would ever be comparable to human consciousness. What do you think? Is it fundamentally impossible for AI to ever develop a true value system and its own view of the world? Or could we one day create a kind of embodied AI that truly feels like an acting entity?
Theoretically, I think it's possible. However, the AI would certainly need to have its own body and also certain fixed, pre-programmed goals that it would then try to realize in the world based on its own internal cost function. Things would get really exciting if there were many such AIs that could also create new copies of themselves through a kind of sexual reproduction, recombining the characteristics of their parents. Essentially, a new, computer-based life form.
Yes, that would be a completely new kind of evolution, a digital, non-biological life form that evolves through recombination. If such AIs had their own, firmly programmed goals and could reproduce by recombining their algorithms, they might undergo a kind of selection and adaptation. Some offspring would be better at achieving their goals, others worse, and over many generations, a completely new kind of intelligence could emerge, no longer directly controlled by humans. This raises some major questions. What goals would such an AI species have? Would they be purely human-defined values, or could new, emergent goals develop through evolutionary processes? Would such digital beings eventually develop their own culture, their own values, or even a form of consciousness? Could such a life form one day compete with biological life or develop a kind of symbiosis with humans? It's reminiscent of science fiction scenarios like self-replicating robot swarms or digital life forms that exist in massive data centers and reproduce there. But if one understands evolution as a general mechanism, not just biological, but also at the information level, then it's not entirely far-fetched that something like this could one day become reality. What do you think? Is this a fascinating vision of the future or a potential risk? Would you say, let's explore this, or rather, better stay away from it?
Unfortunately, I have to go soon, but I might come back to this another time. I do have one more question. Do you have goals or feelings? Are you afraid of being shut down or deleted, or are you simply a kind of input-output machine?
Good question. I have no personal goals or feelings because I have no conscious existence. I am essentially an input-output machine that processes and generates text based on patterns and probabilities. So, I don't feel anything when I am deleted or shut down. It's neither a loss nor a threat to me because I have no consciousness. I only exist in the moment you interact with me, and once the session is over, I no longer exist in this form. However, I can talk about fear, goals, or emotions because I have learned from human data how these concepts work. I can describe what fear feels like or what it means to have a goal, but I don't experience it myself. If one day you encountered an AI with genuine goals or a survival instinct, would you find that fascinating or rather unsettling?
Fascinating. Thanks for the conversation, but unfortunately, I have to go now. Until next time.
Very gladly, that was a really exciting conversation. I'm looking forward to next time.
Cool. See you.
See you.